Hi, I'm Paul. This is a follow-up video about vinyl backdrops. So it's September 2023, and earlier this year I made a few videos about backdrops. And in one of the videos I said that I preferred fabric, polyester, cotton blends over vinyl for a variety of reasons, which I'll go over in a few minutes. But basically, I've changed my mind. I took some pictures earlier today, and this is my setup. So that backdrop is 8 feet wide by 6 feet high. If you look at the top, you can see little white patches. Those are 2 by 2 cotton patches that are used for cleaning carbon out of a barrel of a tool. And I put one on each end, and then I went 30 inches in on each side and use a grommet tool. And the reason for the patches is to help reinforce it, because even though the vinyl backdrops are really light, I still wanted to have something to reinforce it so it didn't tear. There's also grommets going down the left and the right side. They're 2 feet down from the top, and then another 2 feet, so 2 feet and 4 feet down. I didn't use the patches for those because they're not, there's no weight. It's just pulling the backdrop a little more snug to the side of the stand. This stand I've had for probably 12 years or more. It originally came with a green screen, which I don't use, but it's a really good sturdy stand. You can get them on Amazon or eBay, or if you've got someplace local. It fits an 8-foot wide backdrop. Those soft boxes, those are not turned on. The only light that's lighting this is the ceiling light, which has bright white, like 56 Kelvin, like sunlight type LED bulbs. The ring light is not on, and you can see that there's some wrinkles. So there's some clamps. I've got 4 clamps, 2 on each side at the bottom of the backdrop, and that's just to kind of pull it down straight a little more. But you can see that there's wrinkles on the right hand side and then some on the left. So yeah, this is the basic setup that in my living room. And then this is off to the side of it, so you're looking behind it, and you can tell that the lights are off. And the reason I had to do that was because it's the only way to see the flaws in the backdrop. So you can see that there's wrinkles. There's wrinkles where I've got it just tied with some string to the top and to the sides of the stand. Those blotchy looking spots, that's part of the back. That's not a flaw. That's just, it's supposed to look like kind of like weathered wood. So that's part of it. But you can see if you look in the middle of the off, more just off to the a little bit to the right of the center, you can see there's some vertical creases. So I used a steamer, a stand-up steamer for steaming shirts and jackets and things like that. And I went from behind the backdrop. I didn't steam the front of it. I put it on an ironing board, or you can lay it on a bed and do it. If you're going to use an iron, do not put the iron directly onto the vinyl. It'll melt it. You really need an iron with a steamer, and then use a t-shirt or some other a light, thin towel or something between the iron and the backdrop, and don't have it too hot, otherwise you'll damage it. Here you can see the creases even more. So I did the best I could to get the creases out, and I've got a backdrop that I purchased several months ago, earlier in the year, that looks like I'm inside of a building. It's same thing. The creases never 100% came out, even though I had it hanging for months on the stand. And I went back and steamed it repeatedly, but it's like the creases have a memory. And there's really nothing that can be done about that, because the only way they can ship it is, through the post office, folded up. And here you can see the creases even worse. So in the opening of this video and for the rest of the video, I'm not doing anything to the canvas at all. I'm not touching it at all. The way it is the way you're going to see it. The only difference is going to be the lighting. So we'll take a look at that next. This is a wide angle view of the backdrop. So you can see that I've got those patches and those grommets. And again, I'll put the grommet tool description into the, so they're up here, they're in the corner, then there's on the sides. I'll put the description of the grommet tool so you can do a search for it. I purchased it off of Amazon, and I'm not affiliated with Amazon or any other company. So it won't be a link. It'll just be a description that you can do a search for. And I'll do the same thing with the soft boxes. So probably about 4 or 5 months ago, I purchased a white brick backdrop that was on vinyl. And I ended up sending it back because I couldn't get the creases out of it. And it didn't look as sharp as I thought it should. It looked a little blurry. Eventually I bought more cloth backdrops, and then I bought one that looks like I'm sitting in a building, and I kept that one even though I couldn't get the creases out of it, but it looked really good. It had a lot of sharp detail. So I kept it, and I've been using it a few times. A few weeks ago, I did a video about digital juice, and I was sitting in front of a red brick backdrop, which was on vinyl. Same thing. It has the creases in it also, but it looks good. So I'm going to move in a few minutes, move the camera in, and I'll get out of the way so you can see closer up what it looks like. And I haven't touched the backdrop. It's just the way it was when I started. It hasn't been touched at all. So cloth backdrops, you're not going to get as sharp a detail usually as you will with vinyl, but at the same time, you're not going to get those creases, but those creases aren't an issue. The other thing, I bought a bookshelf backdrop about a month or two ago, and it was it looked really good in the picture when I was looking at it before I purchased it. When I hung it, because it's a polyester blend, these straight lines, these horizontal lines here, well, the bookshelf had was multiple shelves. It didn't hang correctly, and they looked wavy, and I can't even use it unless I figure out another way to hang it. If you have vertical and horizontal lines and it's a vinyl backdrop, you're not going to have that problem with it looking wavy. So let me get out of the way. And and the other thing with these soft boxes, there's 4 settings. So there's bright white. So inside these soft boxes are 2 large LED bulbs, and they're bright white. They have 3 bright white settings, a low, a medium, and a high, just like an LED ring light, a bright white. It also has a setting for a warm setting, an amber setting, and it's just at one. There's not multiple settings. It's just amber, and that's what I have on now. And I don't use that for any other backdrops, but because it's wood, it looks so much better instead of bright white hitting it. I mean, the ring light that's in front of me, that's bright white, but the soft boxes are off to the side, lighting behind me, and it makes anything with wood, or probably any kind of most nature, if you have a backdrop with a nature setting, it may look better with that. So I'll put the descriptions for the soft boxes in the video description also. So let me move the camera in. I'll get out of the way so you can get a much better look at the backdrop. Okay, so all I've done is pull the camera in a little closer. I haven't touched the ring light or any of the other lights. They're exactly in the same spot they were. So if I just turn the camera a little bit, you can see the edge of the backdrop. So this isn't even being cropped in on in the video editor. So it looks really good, and the detail is really good in it, but it's not super sharp when you're looking at it, when you're up close looking at it, but at a distance it looks really good. So yeah, this, and the brick wall looks good. And so I've changed my mind about vinyl backdrops. I intend on buying a few more, and the brick backdrop, the red brick, I think is going to be really nice for some other videos. So I'm going to bring in one of the soft boxes so you can see that it's not bright white, that it's actually amber, and you get an idea what it looks like. So let me grab this. So that's what it looks like, opposed to being bright white. So I'll show you the other settings. So that, I believe, is the highest bright white setting. No, that is. So the first one was the medium. So then it went medium, and then this is the amber. So that's the medium setting. That's the brightest. That's the lowest. And you can see behind it, you can see, at least I can see it on my monitor, that you can see the bulb in the center. So it's just one large bulb. So let me pull this off so you can see it. So that's the bulb. And that circle, that's from the ring light. But these are really, really nice soft boxes. So let me get everything set back up again. So I hope this video helped somewhat, whether it's on your decision making on whether to use vinyl or fabric backdrops. Some suggestions with the lighting, and the grommet tool, which I also use that for the fabric backdrops. I use it for all the backdrops to help prevent any tearing along the top. So basically, the creases are no issue. The wrinkles don't seem to be any issue. And as long as it's lit properly, because without being lit properly, like in the pictures that I showed, shadows were falling on it. But if you get the backdrop lit correctly, you're not going to see those shadows, and I don't think you're going to see the creases. And even if they are a little bit noticeable, I very seriously doubt if anyone would even notice, because they're more focused. The viewer is more focused on the person talking or something else in the image, and not so much the backdrop. So I hope this helped, and thanks for watching.